Good day and welcome to the midday bilingual newscast on the network service of the ICTU Radio. The news is presented by Hilary Zogo and myself, Jérémy Romy. Bonjour Hilary.
Bonjour Jérémy Romy, bonjour auditeurs de la 107.5. Voici les titres de ce journal. Jeux universitaires 2024, le coup d'envoi sera donné samedi prochain. La compétition se tient dans la ville de Garoua, dans la région du Nord Cameroun, et est organisée par la FENASU. Les premières attitudes des étudiants déjà présents sur le site dans ce journal. Mesdames, Messieurs, une fois de plus, bonjour et bienvenue à cette édition de l'information. Le Cameroun et les États-Unis d'Amérique en phase dans le projet de construction et d'équipement du parc intercommunal d'engins de génie civil. L'État camerounais a sécurisé un prêt de 54,9 milliards de francs CFA auprès de la Standard Bank Chartered des États-Unis. Les documents ont été signés hier en présence du ministre de l'Économie, de la Planification et de l'Aménagement du Territoire, Alamine Ousmane May. Le projet porté par le FECOM et la Banque de collectivités territoriales décentralisées du Cameroun est en discussion depuis 2015.
The Cameroon's Electoral Commission, ELECAM, has issued a warning to a Yaoundé-based institution conducting training on polling stations ahead of the general election. In an official statement signed by ELECAM Director Eric Essousé on Monday 21, 2024, it informed the public that specifically the Centre International de Formation Appliquée en démocratie, développement éthique et gouvernance, abbrevié CIFADEC, that according to the law, the organization and management of polling stations are solely ELECAM's responsibilities.
La 16e session du comité d'orientation et de suivi du contrat de désendettement et de développement s'est tenue le 21 mai dernier à Yaoundé. Au terme de la réunion, il en ressort que, en matière de développement territorial et de services sociaux, de base de formation professionnelle, entre autres, les actions ont été menées pour améliorer les conditions de vie des populations. Le Premier ministre chef du gouvernement, Joseph Diangoté, préside ce jour l'ouverture officielle de la 4e édition de la Convention internationale des mines et de l'exposition du Cameroun CIMEC. En marge du CIMEC, la ville de Yaoundé accueille également la réunion des ministres des Mines de l'Organisation des États d'Afrique, des Caraïbes et du Pacifique, OEACP.
The 7th edition of Wood and Furniture Fair to be held under the theme Structuring the Wood Processing Value Chain in line with its growth and development objectives is scheduled to take place from June 22nd to July 2nd, 2024 at the Yaoundé Conference Center. The announcement was made recently by the president of the Female Artisanat, that is Helen Mapoko Ango, who is the organizer of the Met in Cameroon Wood Fair. The fair, according to the president, will be very innovative with programs, training sessions for children in wood processing, as well as the awarding of special prizes. Some students of the Institute of Science and Technology in the nation's capital have cheated death following an accident that occurred at the Cliff of May in Ngandere in the Adamawa region. The unfortunate incident occurred yesterday 40 kilometers away from the town of Ngandere, while the students were on their way to Garoua for the 2024 FENASCO B Games, expected to take to start on Saturday. Details in this report that follow.
En route to Garoua for the University Games when the incident occurred. While there were several serious injuries reported, fortunately, no lives were lost. According to initial reports, the bus experienced brake failure, causing the driver to lose control. Despite his efforts to regain command of the vehicle, it skidded and ended up perilously suspended on the guardrails above the ravine. The immediate intervention of local authorities and emergency services helped in preventing a more tragic outcome. Among the first responders was Kidadi Takeke Buka, the governor of the Adamawa region, who oversaw the rescue operations. The injured students were quickly transported to a nearby medical facilities for treatment.
And we take you to other stories where we are seeing that the sensitization campaigns to mark the 2024 Mental Health Awareness Month continue with focus on addressing the challenges faced by millions living with mental health conditions through fostering public education and advocating for policies that prioritize the well-being of individuals and families affected by mental illness. Mental health specialists are using the month to push for a healthier society. Dr. Etienne Tanyu is a clinical psychologist speaking to Promise Akante. He talks about some of the things that destabilize one's mental health.
When you focus on the WHO definition of mental health, which is a state of well-being, where an individual maintains equilibrium between himself and his environment, you see that anything that will destabilize this equilibrium between an individual and his environment can bring about poor mental health or can destabilize a person's mental health. For example, any stress factor that can lead to stress is already something that can destabilize an individual's mental health. So anything that can bring about a disequilibrium between the individual and his environment can bring about poor mental health or lead to poor mental health.
Largely understood, mental health is different from mental illness, as the clinical psychologist explains in this essay. Dr. Etienne Tanyu talking there to Promise Akante. Take a listen.
I said before, mental health is a state of well-being between an individual and his environment. But mental illnesses are diagnosed pathologies. They are diagnosed mental pathologies that can affect an individual. We can talk about depression, we can talk about psychosis, we can talk about epilepsy, we can talk about neurodevelopmental disorders and other things. So mental illnesses are those diagnosed pathologies that can disturb an individual's mental health. Meanwhile, mental health is a state of well-being where an individual finds his or herself in. For mental illnesses, there are always clear-cut protocols of management. For example, somebody with bipolar disorders can be given mood stabilizers that will help to bring back the person's mood. But imagine somebody who is subjected to stress factors in his or her environment and is unable to take away the stress factor. The person's mental health will not be okay. Thank you.
Dr. Etienne Tanyu is a psychologist. Media practitioners drawn from some regions across the country are sharpening their skills on how to better report cybersecurity issues. This is during a two-day capacity building workshop for journalists taking place in Yaoundé. Organized by the National Agency for Information Communication Technologies, known by its French acronym, that is ANTIG, in partnership with the Development Advocacy Welfare Network. Down the workshop has as theme understanding cyber crime and the effective reporting. At the end of the 2-day capacity building workshop, participants are expected to be better equipped for detection, reporting, and the fight against cyber criminal crimes. The national station of Cameroon Radio and Television, known as ICTU-RTV, is in tears following the passing away of one of its journalists by name Karine Olive Yabit. The journalist who is of most presenter the 8 p.m. French news died this early morning Thursday in Yaoundé following an illness. The editorial staff of the ICTU-RTV joins its voice with that of the entire press family to send its most saddened condolences to the family of Olive Yabit Karine.
Le monde de la presse camerounaise en larmes depuis les premières heures de cette journée. Karine Olive Yabit, journaliste en service à la télévision nationale, s'en est allée ce matin des suites de longue maladie à Paris, en France. Elle a notamment brillé devant les écrans à travers divers programmes, dont le journal de 20h30. Le Cameroun est en transformation dans le domaine du Chips Analytics. La présentation du projet et une démonstration ont été faites hier à Douala. Les objectifs poursuivis tournent essentiellement autour de 3 points, à savoir le client, le patient, le médecin prescripteur, le pharmacien, le laboratoire et enfin l'assurance. Chips Analytics est une société high-tech spécialisée dans le développement des outils informatiques. La 82e session de la Task Force du nouveau CJPS de modernisation de l'administration camerounaise a eu lieu le 21 mai à Yaoundé. La réunion était en présence du directeur du budget, Dr Cyril Eboualo, du ministre de la fonction publique et de la réforme administrative, Joseph Lé, par ailleurs président du comité ministériel chargé de l'assistance du prestataire, du suivi et du contrôle du projet. Le ministère des Petites et Moyennes Entreprises, de l'Économie sociale et de l'Artisanat organise depuis hier un atelier. Il vise à accompagner 100 entreprises des secteurs de l'agroalimentaire, du textile et du bois. Ceci afin de les aider à se conformer aux normes de production, d'étiquetage et d'emballage en vigueur dans le but de gagner en compétitivité pour saisir les opportunités offertes par les APE. À l'étranger, le premier ministre du gouvernement de transition tchadien, Succès Masra, a démissionné de ses fonctions. Sa lettre a été déposée hier matin ainsi que celle de toute son équipe ministérielle, comme le prévoit la Constitution. Dans la correspondance déposée, il remercie le président Mohamed Idriss Déby pour la confiance et l'honneur portés à son égard pendant la période transitoire. Il va terminer sa lettre par une prière patriotique, je cite, « Que Dieu nous fasse grâce de sa sagesse et vous bénisse, qu'il bénisse le peuple tchadien et qu'il prenne en garde notre pays. » Fin de citation. Rappelons que Succès Masra a perdu les élections présidentielles face à une large palette de concurrents, parmi lesquels le président de la transition Mohamed Idriss Déby Itno, devenu président de la République tchadienne. Au Kenya, le président kenyan poursuit sa visite officielle aux États-Unis d'Amérique. Il a été reçu par son homologue Joe Biden à la Maison-Blanche à Washington. La visite d'État de 3 jours a commencé par une réunion avec les dirigeants du secteur technologique et les chefs d'entreprise. Le chef d'État américain a salué la longévité de la coopération diplomatique entre les USA et le Kenya en lançant une nouvelle ère de partenariat entre les deux pays. Le président Vladimir Poutine salue la mémoire de son homologue iranien Ebrahim Raïssi. Il a déclaré mardi dernier que le défunt chef d'État était un partenaire très fiable. Vladimir Poutine a donc mandaté le chef de la Douma, Vyacheslav Volodine, pour le représenter aux officiels de Raïssi. Poutine demandera par ailleurs à Volodine de transmettre aux dirigeants iraniens, je cite, qu'il fera tout pour que les relations russo-iraniennes se poursuivent dans de bonnes conditions. Il a également déclaré que la Russie était prête à tout pour aider l'Iran dans ses enquêtes.
And more news out of the country, we take you to Chad, where in the Republic of Chad, sources Masra, Prime Minister of Chad, appointed by President Mahamat Idris Deby, has resigned. The decision to resign was announced by the opposition leader in a tweet yesterday, May 22nd, 2024. He is resigning alongside the transitional government, which has become irrelevant with the end of the presidential election of May 6, 2024, which led to the victory of Mahamat Idris Deby as president. Former South African President Jacob Zuma has been barred from presenting his candidacy for the general elections. The MK party spokesperson, that is Nalanulo Ndela, said that their leader Jacob Zuma will pursue all possible ways, including approaching the UN Human Rights Committee to overturn the Constitutional Court ruling. A short break and we take you to the world of sports. The Ministry of Sports and Physical Education, through the minister, says it is only the staff members appointed via their height instruction that they recognize. This comes after lovers and the Cameroonians are confused who is who between technical staff appointed by height instruction and those appointed by the Cameroon Football Federation, baptized Fekafoods. But who are those selected by government through the Minister of Sports and Physical Education to manage the national team of Cameroon? That question is answered in this report that follows.
The Minister of Sports and Physical Education, he recognizes only the following staff members: Mr. Mark Breeze, the national head coach, assisted by Joaquin Mununga, and Mr. Janice Ziloris, who is a video analyst. Assistant coach number 1, Mr. Francois Oman Biyik. Assistant coach number 2, Mr. Ashu Cyprien Besson. Goalkeeper coach, Mr. Alimbuka. Doctor, Professor Ngachu Njomo William. Physical trainer, Mr. Manovri Christophe. National Selections Coordinator, Mr. Banlock Benjamin. Deputy Coordinator, Mveng Hervé. Team Manager, Noko Dani Achille. Team Press Officer, Esenge Jamen Noël. Liaison Officer, Mr. Lobe Kela Didier Alphonse. Meanwhile, according to an unconfirmed information, which states that Benjamin DJ Banlog, the coordinator of the national teams, Minsect Version, contacted the players to communicate their flight plan to them, and some players told him that they had already received a flight plan from Benoit Angboa, the coordinator version of Fekafoot Mediatude.
Barely 2 days to the start of the 2024 FENASU game to take place in Garoua. Preparations have intensified in the host town Garoua. Let's take a listen to some of the participants in this excerpt.
The journey from Yaoundé to Garoua was kind of tedious. It was nice because the nature, the environment, the environment was so nice. The nature, especially when we were observing through the windows, especially during daytime, everything was so nice, and it was like you are in a different part of Cameroon. So this area, this part of Cameroon is really nice. Though the climate, the only difficulty is the climate because it's really hot here. But the journey was good. We had some stops at some area. We stopped to have some refreshment because they advised us to drink enough water, enough of cola, enough of salty water, enough of water with lime inside. And we also had some exercises. So every after 2 hours, we strengthen up our legs and our feet, like for our blood to easily circulate because most of us, our feet was high due to over-sitting down. We arrived Garua Thursday evening at past 11. So we arrived Garua Thursday evening past 11. Everything went all well. We got installed in our various apartments. The different athletes went to their various apartments. The fan club went to their various apartments. The administration went to their lodging hotel. It's not here, it's in town. And today morning, we are prepared. We are preparing. We are arranging the necessary stuff for our competition, for everything. I can say we are mentally, we are physically prepared for the competition. We are ready for the competition. We are ready to support our athletes. We are ready to bring back our own golden medal back to Yaoundé. We are ready in all aspects. Let it be at different animations for our athletes. Let it be our own competition with the fans club, with other fan clubs of our university. We are ready for everything. Preparation is well. We have everything necessary, the equipment, the various dresses, everything is necessary for that.
Jour J-2 pour le coup d'envoi de la 24e édition des Jeux universitaires. L'heure est au dernier réglage. Cependant, un des bus transportant des étudiants de l'Institut universitaire des sciences et techniques de Yaoundé, USTI, a dérapé au niveau de la falaise de Mbé en Gaoundéré. Le retour sur ce drame et sur les préparatifs de ces Jeux universitaires avec vous, Michel Betaïné.
À quelques heures du coup d'envoi de la 24e édition des Jeux universitaires, un drame s'est produit hier 22 mai 2024 à la falaise de Ngaoundéré dans la région de l'Adamawa. Selon les informations reçues, le bus de l'Institut universitaire des sciences et techniques de Yaoundé a perdu ses freins à la descente de la falaise. Le chauffeur ne maîtrisait plus rien et le véhicule a dérapé et s'est retrouvé suspendu sur les balustres du ravin. Le bilan fait état de plusieurs blessés graves sans aucune perte en vie humaine. Plus de peur que de mal, la suite des délégations universitaires sont arrivées sains et saufs. Nelly Zenkeng, membre du fan club de l'université de Yaoundé 1, nous donne les détails.
Hier, nous sommes arrivés à Gawa aux environs de 23h30. Nous avons pris le temps de nous installer au campus de Djoumassi.
La compétition proprement dite débute le 25 mai prochain. Les étudiants font les derniers réglages.
Aujourd'hui, nous prenons le temps de mieux nous préparer en ce qui concerne notre compétition, qui débutera demain avec le carnaval. Ensuite, nous avons la levée de couleurs aux environs de 16h. C'est ainsi que marquera le début de la compétition proprement dite.
Organisé par la Fédération nationale du sport universitaire FENASU, ces Jeux qui débutent le 25 mai s'achèveront le 1er juin à l'université de Ngaoundéré sur les sites de Ndjoumassi, Parc Ouvita, Essena, École Fon, Parc Boisé, l'imprimerie nationale, Sénagès et à la Maison des Jeunes.
And it is with that report by Michel Betaïné that will put an end to this edition of our midday bilingual newscast on the airwave of the ICTU radio. Luisa Kinyu managed the consort for the news. And on the presentation, I was Jeremy Romy accompanied by
Hilary Zogo. Bonne journée.